Hi, we are live from Maui, Hawaii. Let me get that banner up. Hello from Hawaii. Did you sail this week? How's it going? Say hi. Join us. If this is your first time watching, I do this every Sunday. It's one of the ways I like to get back. It's just free live coaching, and we talk about windsurfing and whatever you guys want to talk about. So chat, guys, the discussion and the Facebook group. So there's a Facebook group, and you can post photos, videos, questions, and that determines the structure of the Sunday live stream. Hello, York. Hello, Facebook. So if you're joining us on Facebook and you want me to be able to see who you are, you have to give StreamYard permission. The instructions to do so should be in my post right now. So if you're watching on Facebook, the instructions are in that post. Hey, Max. Everyone sailed this week and hit the rocks. I don't even know what that means. What do you mean everyone sailed this week and hit the rocks? I sailed this week. I had fun. I had a good session yesterday. Here, let me know if you can hear me. I put my mic a little bit higher up today. Is it still working? Yeah, I had a good session yesterday myself. I was super busy, crazy busy day. So I got to the beach quite late and got on the water. It took me 20 minutes before I caught my first wave. Hey, Bart. And so I was stressing in the beginning. I was thinking, oh no, I'm not going to get any waves. I'm not getting any waves. I was out there really just back and forth, looking for a wave. Couldn't find any, couldn't get on one. Hey, Ragnar. But then I did, and I got in the rhythm, which is often the case. Find a rhythm with the waves, one after another. And yeah, I had a great session. I don't know if there's any photos or video. Some of you follow Jimmy Hep, but he tends to leave the beach around 2. He's there from like 12 to 2. And I arrived at 4. So I sailed from like 4 to 5:30. I was the last person out. I had some really fun rides, some nice 360s, some huge crashes. So again, everyone on Facebook, you got to give us permission to see you. Otherwise, it shows up like this: Facebook user. So stoked you got some sailing. If you want to join us, give StreamYards permission. Do I plan to go to Cabo Verde? Yes, I do. I am going to compete in the World Cup in Cabo Verde that's coming up. And I leave Maui in how many days? 8 days. Mario, Jeff, Hans. Hello. So, how was the sailing, Max? I still want to hear the story. What do you mean everyone sailed and you hit the rocks? So I had a few days off. Some great sailing yesterday. Was really a nice session. And yeah, Kelly Slater won Pipeline, which is amazing. What else? Not sure I have much else to report from my side. If I can think of it, I will report it. I saw something interesting on Instagram, which I wanted to talk about, not directly related to windsurfing. So let me screen share, and instead of going into our normal just coaching thing, I want to talk about this for a second. By the way, if you're just joining us, say hi, let us know who you are. If you're on Facebook, you have to give StreamYard permission. And did you sail this week? And if you didn't sail, what did you do? Were you thinking about windsurfing or not? On the weeks where you're not windsurfing, are you still thinking about it? Are you obsessed with it? Do you watch videos or do you just take a break? I think both can be healthy. All right. Dennis, 5'2", decent waves. Nice. Greg, 2 good sessions. Cool. Jumping, wave riding, shoulders holding together there. Sounds good. All right. So I want to show this. Keep Mateus. Nice. Sailing every day in Fuerte. Hey, Tomas. Yes, I can see you now. See, now you show up like this. It's perfect. All right. So I want to talk about this. You guys can keep saying hello, keep telling me what you're up to. And then I saw this Instagram post, and I thought it was so interesting, the responses to it. And so I want to know, yeah, Bertrand, I can see you. Show up like this. Oh no, Hans, you hurt yourself. How bad is it? Out for a few weeks. What happened? Ouch. Mario's been training, functional training, CrossFit. Jeff is working on rebuilding his loops. That sounds solid. All right, so I want to talk about, you guys keep telling me what you're up to. And as you're doing that, I'm going to bring up an issue that I find super interesting. So Stab is a surf magazine, online magazine. And they posted this article called Why Don't Surfers Care About Improving? And it's about coaching in surfing. And I did not, full disclosure, I did not read the article. I just saw their Instagram post, which we can go through in a second, and the comments. And it's actually the comments that I find the most interesting. And I want to get some other takes. I want to hear what you guys think. Yeah, twisted ankle, hands. We call it the same thing. Twisted ankle, rolled ankle, same thing. Sprained ankle. I hope it really heals up. If you sometimes you can just tweak everything, especially the stuff on the outside that holds everything together, without actually damaging the tendons and ligaments. And that's still painful, but at least it heals pretty good. All right, so they said, why don't surfers care about improving? Surfing poorly isn't pleasant. It's less fun. People burn you. Others think less of you. I don't know if I agree 100% with all of this, because you can still have fun. Yeah, people might drop in on you, but maybe that doesn't matter. Do people think less of you? I don't know. So I don't know if I fully agree with this. But I do agree with this. There are tools to improve our surfing, lessons, coaching websites, yet few of us use them. Why is that? And this is Cam Mills responding, most surfers were either self-taught or learned with their mates, so their only concept of what good technique looks like is a surfer on tour. Surf coaching is about giving people achievable steps for them to progress. Makes sense. Surfing doesn't receive the exposure or money as many other organized sports. That's not really true anymore. Surfing has a lot of money. Surfing has a lot of money, more money than most sports. There's a few huge sports, soccer, football, but otherwise most sports have less money than surfing. Hey, David. Hello. So basically, I haven't read the article, and what I have to say doesn't really have to do with the article. It's more the reaction to the article. So basically, their premise is that there's a lot of good surf coaching that exists, but people don't use it. I would agree with that. Hey, Mark. And one of the things that I find interesting in surfing and windsurfing is that there's less routine about seeking coaching or improving than in some other sports. So for example, in tennis or in golf, if you're doing it regularly, there's some amount of coaching that's baked into the program. You maybe meet with a pro once a month or once a year, whatever your budget can handle, to improve your swing or some part of your game. And in surfing and in windsurfing, high-level coaching isn't as accessible, isn't as mainstream. And the comments are I find so interesting and so counterintuitive, because also coming from the pro side, we're always trying to get better and we never want to shy away from coaching. So, pros have coaches, pros are always looking to get better. In surfing, compared to windsurfing, there's even more coaching and more coaching going on because there's more money in it, so they're able to afford more coaches. But it's an interesting these comments. So they say, "What a weird article. Who cares? Rather just enjoy surfing." Um, you don't. The more you surf, the better you get. You don't need some random online teaching you. Uh, this is so weird. Surfing poorly is so fun. I can barely stand, but I'm giving it a fucking go and having a frothy time. This smells classist. Uh, I'd give anything to drop in on the author of this post. Um, Surfing is so fun, even when you're bad. Uh, I don't normally comment, but this is pretty ridiculous. There were no surf coaches for Greg Knoll surfing at Waimea or Laird Hamilton surfing at Chopu. This seemed like a very capitalist-driven article, um, which I don't know. This is full of comments like that. All right, you lost me with this article, and so I wonder what you guys think. Obviously, you are interested. You know, if you're in this live stream, you are interested in getting better. And for me, it's just a natural part of what I do, and also in activities where I'm not competing or I'm not a professional. So obviously in windsurfing, I'm trying to get better, and I've had coaches and trainers, and I'm trying to get better myself. But in everything else I do as well, you know, whether I'm playing a card game or playing another sport, I want to get better, and I'll read about how to get better and take lessons, and that's part of the pleasure for me. So that I find pleasure in that improvement process, and especially in doing something hard. Windsurfing is very hard. You never stop learning. You never feel like you're really a master. It's so hard, and that gives me pleasure. So that is a source of fun for me. That I'm. It's an area that I can always be improving in and always be working on. Whereas something else like maybe riding a jet ski, you reach quite a high level quite quickly. And I think that having the right instruction makes that process smoother, so you're less frustrated. You can see you still have to do the work, right? I mean, coaching doesn't remove the work. It's not like a short. I mean, it's a shorter path, but it's not a shortcut. You have to do the work. Um, So I just found these comments so funny and counterintuitive. I would not have expected this reaction. People hate this article. I just found it so funny. So I'm gonna go through and read some of the comments from you guys. So Mario says, even in skiing, many other sports, it's normal to have a teacher. Totally agree. Tomas says, the lack of will to improve is because you don't go against each other in surfing and windsurfing, and it's still kind of fun, though these people don't get how much fun it is after you improve. That's a good point. So in a sport like tennis or golf, you are competing with other people. Skiing, that's not the case, whereas ski lessons are fairly common. But I think that is a good point, that surfing is also thought of not always as a sport. It can be thought of as uh, something more than a sport, something almost spiritual or as a practice. Uh, and then I can see that it's not just about improving. Surfing and windsurfing are very condition reliant, whilst other sports are indoor trainable or with dry technique. Yeah, that's a good point. So it's a lot easier to train in other sports. The tennis court is not moving around, so you can go there and you can work on your serve 1,000 times. Whereas in windsurfing, we have to respond to what the ocean is doing. And in wave sailing, that's actually part of this skill. So that's something that you can train and you want to be working on. You can work on with a coach, and that is reacting to what the ocean is doing. Because we don't want to be projecting onto the ocean. So this is one of the big themes, beep, 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 big theme. One of the big themes of the coaching is in wave sailing, you don't want to project what you want to do onto the ocean. You need to read what the ocean wants you to do and react to it. That is a core tenet, core principle of wave riding. and riding waves. It's true with surfing as well. It's maybe less true with freestyle and windsurfing, but if for wave riding and windsurfing, that is 100% the case, and it's one of the most difficult things to master. And a lot of, if you're going to work on anything, work on that. And it's not projecting onto the ocean, but reading what the ocean is doing. So the way I like to think of it is it's a dance and the ocean is guiding you. Rasmus says, surfers are also very interested in improving. There are tons of online courses and YouTube channels. The coaching market is small because people in general are less economically well off and also anti-establishment. Yeah, that's a good point. Good point from Rasmus. Ragnar says, for me, there's a pre-gram, post-gram. In the past, it was hard to find coaching around here or online. You could find tutorials like Daily Dose or Content 7, but this is not enough. Yeah, there are some great resources. I get frustrated with some of the windsurfing tutorials that you commonly see in the magazines that are like, to do the forward, jump up, sheet in, look over your shoulder, land, and that's not going to help you get there. You need to break it down in different ways, and that's one of the things that's really motivated me with this coaching, is try to see people actually continue their journey. And be on that journey together, which is so rewarding. And okay, what do we have to do? How do I have to break this down and explain it to make that possible? Han says, I can say for sure that my fun and progression improved significantly since joining this group. Progress is fun, as well as thinking about how to improve. Tomas says, for me, a big part of windsurfing beauty is that there's always so much room to improve. Totally agree. Surfers think they're anti-social norms, anti-capitalist, like a cult. Yeah. Han says, yep, skiing lessons are also ignored. Yeah, I can see that too. Mario started surf skating. Love it. I want to start that too. Yeah. Evenings, Steen. Thomas says, I think the average skiing snowboarding level is actually quite similar to surfing, apart that you have much more organized youth training in the winter sports. But for people that take up skiing as adults, they do basic level training with a teacher, then go on their own. Yeah, that's a good point. Hey, Chris. So, Chris, we're just talking about this article in the comments and how anti-coaching they are, which I was surprised by. I thought was pretty funny. And yeah, so I just wanted to get reactions from everyone because I just found it so interesting. And I didn't bring this topic to promote what we're doing, but it's also, I realized, a good opportunity. If you know someone that is not in the coaching group that would benefit from it, invite them to the Facebook group or these Sunday live streams. And the more the merrier. I think we really benefit from having more people. So if you know someone that's interested in either the Facebook community or the Sunday live streams, tell them to join and say hi, ask a question, post some footage, or just watch. All right, let's get into our normal content. We've got a couple more. Tomas says, if you look at wave windsurfers, we're already a small subgroup of the windsurfing community. I think most free riders don't focus on improving past learning and planing drive, which I would actually like to do a little bit more free ride coaching in this group. So I'm a wave sailor, obviously. And so wave sailing is my focus. And I love wave sailing, and that's what most of the coaching is around. But I do recognize that most people are doing free ride. And I think my goal of helping people continue that journey expands beyond just wave riding. I mean, wave riding is where I see that the most is lacking, and it's where I have the most to give. And so that's where my focus is. But also I see it in free ride. I see people, Tomas makes the comment about planing jibes. I see people who are working on planing jibes for 10 years, for 15 years. And, really with proper technique, proper instruction, that shouldn't be the case. And it doesn't matter if they don't want to improve past that point, but come on, let's help get some solid jibes on your free ride board, and you can go out and have fun, and you don't have to fall in the water on the jibes, right? So that is something I am interested in. All right, let's move into the Facebook group. All right, Caro, hello. I think it is so important to coach also in windsurfing. I have the feeling that I improved in last year of coaching with you a lot. Thank you, Caro. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And with the example with I'd say with Caro, is that it's not obvious. You don't know what you need to work on. And if you're just doing it yourself, pushing through brute force, trying to learn, you might be working on the wrong things or the wrong attitude. And one of the things that Cara and I worked on initially was just realizing how good she is and that she doesn't have to try so hard. And so I think some of us, and I'll include myself in this category, feel like we need to be working hard, we need to be trying hard and doing hard work. But that's not always the case. And so I think it was really beneficial, Caro. I mean, you can speak for yourself, but it was nice to be able to say it too. It was, it's nice to be able to say, you're better than you think you are. You don't need to try so hard. That's a nice thing to be able to tell someone, and then to see you internalize that, relax a little bit more, and improve just because you were not because you were learning technique, but you were just able more to trust in the technique that you already had. And that was a really cool coaching moment for me. And I don't know, I think that's something that's quite difficult to get from inside yourself. And I feel very happy that I had that opportunity to be able to go through that process with you in the beginning. All right. And hello, Facebook user. Again, if you want to show up with your name here for me, you have StreamYard permission. The instructions are in the live stream post. All right, let's get into the Facebook group. So Max hit a rock. Ouch. You got to get this repaired. Yeah, you got to get that repaired, unfortunately, or it will suck water. Ding stick is not so good for a repair like this. This should be, I don't know, Max, what's your plan? Are you going to repair it yourself? Are you going to take someone to repair it? Have you repaired a board before? I mean, ideally what you do is you cut out this section. I don't know if you have to fill it. I can't tell from the picture if you want to fill this a little bit with like micro balloons or something. And then you put your glass on top and then sand it. Yeah, ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Got munched in the waves. Hit these rocks at full speed. Ah! Oh no. All right. Paul posted his van. And this post got a lot of love, 28 comments. So let's watch the video.
My van is long wheelbase Volkswagen Transporter 2016. So the racking system allows me to have 4 boards racked up. As you can see here, I've got my SUP at the top. This is my Power 93, my Quantum 115, and the new Severn, or new to me Severn Nuevo 86 litre is. The next little clip will show you how the racking system works, but this is how I have it set. Them out.
Looks tidy.
My design was always to have the left-hand side of the van clear so that I could do things like getting changed in and out of my wetsuit, out of the cold, out of the rain, and that boards in on the racking system at the same time. And they are pretty tightly packed together when I've got them like that, so sometimes I've got to take fin out. These
yeah, this looks solid. This looks really good, I would say, for a van system. I know people are always interested in different van systems, ways to organize vans and cars for windsurfing gear and surf gear, what the best systems are. And I'm not a van guy. I don't have a van on Maui. I've got a truck. And then in Germany, I just hobble along with a Passat station wagon. So this is interesting for me, and I don't have a lot of experience here. This looks cool. This looks heavy duty. I'm going to do a few things on my truck to make it a little bit easier for storing my gear. I was thinking about that yesterday. I can post that picture, but I know pickup trucks are really not common in most places in the world for windsurfers. Maui, we're so lucky that there isn't an issue with theft. So we can just leave our windsurfing gear in the car. We're pretty lucky in that respect. So just throw it in the back of the pickup truck. But I do want to organize that system a little bit more. Yeah, this is cool. I like this. And there's a lot of good comments. All right, we got a question from Mark about backside turns. How do you get in this position? What's the best way to get in this body and rig position during a backside top turn on a small wave? Is it similar to depowering the sail? The idea is to have the sail depower and the board flat as you make contact with the lip, right? As you carve up the wave, there's pull on the sail and your weight is on your heels. Do you then just extend your front arm and shift your weight to your toes? Is it a smooth transition? Do you kind of throw your upper body into the pit of the wave? Finding this hard to do on small waves as there's very little time to transition from rail to rail. Hey, Samuel, you're late, but you sailed. That's what counts, right? Yeah, nice. You got some good Belgian waves. Were you sailing with Dennis? He just got back from a session as well. All right, so about the backsides, there's a lot of different questions here from Mark, and I'm going to address as many of them as I can. I might miss something. If I do miss something, point it out in the chat. Oops, I unplugged the wrong hard drive. I meant to put in a hard drive so that I could try and find some video of this. But basically, with the backside, what you want to do is jam the sail into your shins. So you're pushing the sail back and you're sheeting it in as you're pushing it back. Yeah, nice. You had that session with Dennis. So you're sheeting it in and pushing it back and then leaning forward and sort of leaning more towards the pit of the wave. So it can look like you're leaning towards the nose of the board, but you're actually leaning more perpendicular with the wave. And that's what allows you to really get your weight on top of the right part of the sail so that it can backwind and come back up to you. So let me see if I've got a video. I should have the video from the screen grab that oh, it's on a different hard drive that Mark posted. Let me just plug that in. I keep ejecting these hard drives incorrectly. All right, so let's find this. And then here I can share. I've got a photo I can share while we talk about this. And I want to make sure that I get to all the different aspects of the question because there are a lot of different aspects. So here's an example. This is a more radical example. You don't have to do it so exaggerated as this. But what I want to point out, can you guys see my mouse? Yeah, you can see my mouse. What I want to point out is that I'm not leaning here. I'm looking here because that's where I'm going. But all my body is leaning over here. It's leaning like perpendicular with the wave. And you can see that the sail is fully powered from the other side. And that is what is going to push me upright again and support me. I've got, let me pull up to these other videos. So you really want to sheet in, jam the sail into your shins is the feeling. All right, let me pull up this video. Okay. All right. Bear with me just a second. It's coming. It's coming. So you guys can ask more specific questions. I'm just trying to find this exact same clip so we have the same reference that Mark posted. That still photo of me. I have the video of that. I have it in the folder. It should be here somewhere. Otherwise, we can pull up some stuff from YouTube as well. Let's see what we find. Sorry, this is taking a little bit longer. I don't know where this clip is. Okay, this seems to have disappeared. I don't know. I have a problem with the way my computer searches for files, which is annoying. Anyway, so I found a different one. So sorry, I couldn't find the exact same one, but I found a different backside ride. So I'm going to open that up, and we're going to go through that instead. Or maybe I did find the exact same one. I'm not sure. Anyway. Let's just get this show rolling. So we're just gonna use the clips that we have and get into it. Hey, Marco. All right, so here we go. All right. So let's get into this. All right, let me catch up with the chat. So Rasmus says, isn't it this strong backwinding because of offshore winds, like pictures from lanes? In onshore conditions, it's not so much needed. Rasmus, I think yes and no. I think you can do a similar turn like that in onshore conditions and also get backwinded. So, and then Caro asks, when do you actually start the backside? I mean, like, do you go down in the same sort of bottom turn, or do you stay like halfway on the wave? I find it always hard to find the correct position. Sometimes it works better, sometimes less good. Chris says, good topic, Mark. Graham, do you have any tips on how to push the sail so that it gets backwinded? I often struggle to do that and lean really forward. Yeah, so here's an example from Maui. And so, Caro, to answer your question about when to start the backside bottom turn, especially in onshore conditions, you can cheat a bit and not do much of a bottom turn. And so I think you should aim for doing a bottom turn, but you can also kind of just sail into the lip. Hey, Amir. So what I'm doing here is I'm just pushing the sail back, carving on my heels. And then as I start to come up the wave, I'm just leaning perpendicular to the wave. So leaning right in front of the wave, sheeting in, extending the front arm, and really jamming the sail into my shins. Like you can see that the sail is deformed against the shins. Hey, Edwards, the feeling is that you're really smashing the sail against your legs. You're pulling it so hard back that you're smashing the sail against your legs. And you can see that I'm like deforming the sail. And then what you're doing is you're just pushing the sail as you're leaning on it, and you just push the sail forward while you keep leaning perpendicular to the wave. And what that's doing is it's, because the wind's coming from the other side, it's like you're really sheeting in from that other side, and that just pushes you upright. And you can do this in onshore conditions, offshore conditions. Here, I'll pull up a video after this from onshore conditions. So again, carving on the heel, pulling that out, Leaning forward to try and get the bottom of the board facing the lip. And that sheet out, push the sail forward. And then you can do like this one has much less of a bottom turn. Yes, Edwards, I'm going to Cabo Verde. I leave in 8 days. So like here, there's less of a bottom turn. It's more I'm just kind of going upwind. But again, just really pulling that sail into the shins and then leaning perpendicular to the wave. And the sail will just support you. The sail will support you as long as you're going enough upwind. So you go upwind, jam the sail into your legs, into your knees. All right, let's pull up. I've got one more video, which is maybe actually the video that I was looking for the whole time. All right, where's this one? So Mario says, what is the main difference, if any, for carving backside compared to attack? I mean, one big difference is that you're in the straps, right? Whereas with the tack, you're out of the straps when you're going to the tack. Otherwise, it's pretty similar. I mean, I guess the other difference is with the tack, you're really upright with your weight, whereas with the backside, you're really leaning forward. And then Mark says, so you already lean as you go up the wave. I was trying to do it too late. Yes, that's a good observation, Mark. Thank you for pointing that out. Yes. You're leaning as you're going up the wave. If you're back and on your heels, you're not going to be able to get forward enough to get the bottom of the board looking at the wave to get that energy transfer. So yes, you start leaning forward as you're going up the wave. And there's this sensation of being on your heels while also leaning forward. And to do that, to be on your heels while leaning forward, you need fairly straight legs. It's hard to be in that position while your knees are super bent. And having bent knees is great for a lot of things that we do. But in this move, your legs are a bit straighter than they would be in other moves in order to get that position where you're on your heels, but also leaning forward. So you're on your heels, but also leaning forward. So you're carving up the wave on your heels, but also leaning forward. So you want to start leaning forward pretty early, and then again, you're just jamming that sail back and into your legs. I mean, look, I'm almost trying to get the mast here parallel with the board. I mean, perpendicular would be here, and we're very, very far away from that. Yeah, and then again, just leaning forward, and then when you want to come up, you just push that sail out and forward, and it will just lift you up. So yeah, leaning forward as you go up the wave is crucial, and you don't need to do much of a bottom turn. So we've seen in these 3 clips a variety of different bottom turns. Some of them are more carving, others less so. You can kind of just sail into the lip. So I'm going to pull up one more example, and then let's move on. If you have more questions about this topic, just keep asking them, and we'll talk about them. Let's see. So I want to see in Continent 7 what they've got. Let me share that screen. 1 second. Share screen. Application window. Continent 7. Here we go. All right. Yeah, Carl, I want to see you work on backsides. That's exciting. So these are all backside aerials, which are similar, but a little bit different. Let's see if we can find a backside turn. This is a backside hack, which is also a different technique than what we're talking about. Let's see. Backside 360, aerial backside 360, backside 360. Jennifer says, flatwater shove-its are good to practice. I'm working on them now. Ever since I saw some learn wave shove-its, and then the next wave session, they instantly had better backside turns. Yes, Jennifer. Yes. I couldn't agree more with what you just said. How are you going with the shove-its? One thing, if you want any tips, not that you need tips, but if you want some tips, really make sure you're going upwind. There are benefits to going more downwind later on, but when you're learning them, the more upwind you go, the easier it is to get that pop back up. and then really just jam that sail back to initiate it, and then bring it forward to pop yourself up. If you have problems with the fear element, which I did when I started learning Shabbat, I was scared to commit too much. I would just lean over just a baby amount, and I wanted to lean over more than that. So what I did is I just stood on my gear. I can't remember if I did it in the straps or out of the straps. It doesn't really matter, but the main thing is you don't want to be going super fast or at fast at all. You want to be standing still. And I just fell forward and just felt like just onto my front and just holding on to the boom. So you just catch yourself on the boom, and it's would be almost like just standing up and falling forward and catching yourself with your hands. But it's easier than that on the water because there's a bit of shock absorption with the sail and the water. So it's not as hard as just standing up and falling forward to catch yourself. But if you do that 10 times, 20 times, 30 times, 40 times, it really helps you get over that fear to commit. Here's an old video of Liam Dunkamek when he was just a little kid. I'm not sure if we're going to get a backside in here. There's like a baby one, right? There's a baby backside. You can see that he's bringing the sail back, leaning forward. So this is an example of what we're talking about, just less extreme. But all the same principles are there, where he's pulls the sail back, he's leaning forward as he goes up the wave, gets that high five connection with the lip, right? Allows it to push him forward. All right, let's see what else is here. So, Jennifer, I'd love you to work on some of those exercises, falling forward, and let us know how that goes. That would be cool. All right, here's some backside wave riding from Pons. Oops. So let's see. He also gives his technique, I guess, in this. So we're seeing a lot of really similar things. I wonder if, so he's, you can see really exaggerating, moving that sail back. And then you can't really see it, but he's got that kind of straight legs where this is a cool angle. So you can see pulling the sail back, looking where he's going to go, and leaning forward perpendicular to the wave. Even though he's looking over here, the body is leaning here, which is important. I don't know why he keeps cutting the video. And then see driving that sail forward. So a lot of people, they think about getting upright again. The way to get upright is to sheet out. And that's partly true, but it's not just about sheeting out with that backhand to come upright again. It's about driving that sail forward with both hands, which the only way to do that is with sheeting out. But that is what then will power. Because if you just push out on that backhand, you're not going to have a lot of force driving the sail back up again. So you really want to make sure that you're pushing that sail forward towards the nose of the board to come up. So from this position, then you're pushing it really forward. You can see this is a good example of that. You can see that, okay, the sail is super back, right? Super, super back. I'm not the biggest fan. There's something weird about this turn. But anyway, the sail then up, there's something weird with what he's doing with the board, but we don't have to get into that. The point is he's really pulling the sail back like this, like we're talking about. And then to come upright again, he's driving it. He's not just sheeting out, he's driving it forward. You can see, okay, drives forward and then comes up. So that the front arm is also doing a lot of work pushing up. That was a good example. You can see it in that clip. So you can see back, 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 back. And then both hands, see, it's not just sheeting out. Both hands are driving the sail forward. See, they're driving it forward. this motion, not just sheeting out. Yeah, there's something a little bit, Chris, you say it looks like a shock initiation. I agree, which is kind of weird because then it seems to kind of disconnect a bit from the wave. I don't know, but he's not asking for critique, so we don't have to give it to him. But anyway, Samuel says, what is the optimal hand position for this type of move? Front hand close to the harness lines. I think that it is good to have the front hand close to the harness lines. You don't need as wide a grip as you would have in another move, like down the line wave riding. You can have a narrower grip. But I think having that front hand back can be useful. So yeah, try that. Okay, you guys can keep asking questions, but let's move on. Chris says, hey team, I'll join some friends for a surf trip to Sawgrays next week, and I'm wondering if I should take some windsurfing gear with me as well. I'm probably heading down to Porto towards the end of February and working from there. Cool, Chris, that's exciting. It's definitely not the Nortada season, but Traversa's and Graham's mission makes me wonder. On the other hand, a full focus surf mission might also have its advantages, maybe training for some tubes. Does anyone want to spend their 2 cents and tell me from their experience? So, someone have experience. I want to hear what other people have to say. I'm not a big expert about Sawgrays, but I know someone that lives there who I'm friends with, Ben Profit, and I can ask him for a report about this time of year for windsurfing down there and post it in the comments. But I want other people, I know that some of the other people in the group have experience in Portugal, and I'd like to hear their comments. But I'll reach out to Ben, Chris, and let you know. Otherwise, surf trip also sounds solid. Definitely good training. Tomas is trying to find long-term rentals in El Medino. We have a few answers here. I wrote a few people, didn't really get a satisfying answer. I know that it's possible, but for some reason it's hard to figure this out if you're not local. I've got one more person I can ask. Tomas. Let me just make a note of that. So Jose is his name. Jose or Bjorn, actually. Bjorn from the bike shop. Yeah, so I'll reach out to them, and then if anyone else has something to say about long-term rental, let us know. All right, video from Tomas. Beautiful light. I love this light. Nice. So the question is, or the comment is, this wave felt much better than it looks. I still think it looks quite okay, but it felt amazing at the time. The beach cam view followed by the same view from the GoPro. Difficulty of the day was the need to maneuver around the surfers. Understand that. Here I felt I was a bit late with the first turn, but saved it fine. The second section was a bit soft, and the third turn's quite good considering it's the end of the shoulder. Looking at the clip, I see that I could hit the first one in a different place, tighter turn, and generally exaggerate everything. Wider grip, knees more bent, lower butt in the top turn. Story of the day in general from watching the clips. Windsurfing in the cold makes it more difficult to think clearly and analyze. Yep, makes sense. All right, let's watch this again and go through it. So a little bit wider grip, as you already said, would be helpful. And a little bit more bend in the knees. So you know, Tomas, these aspects that you need to work on, getting lower, wider grip. I would say just choose one of them and focus on it. I think more than that is too much. Just one of them. Get low before you go, or wide grip. Just choose one of those for your next session. Just one of those. And you're sailing good. The wave looks great. But I know that you want to get better, and just focus on one of those. And then I'm going to add one more thing, which is something we talked about on the stream before, but maybe you and I haven't talked about as much, which is bringing that sail across the body. So it would mean bringing this front hand from here just to here. You know, it's not a big move, and that gets that, you know, that S in your front arm. And that will help you set up for this section. So you're coming to a good corner section, but instead of aiming for it here, I want to see you aim for it here. And you can totally make that. You know, it's not like that would be too radical of a bottom turn. So just aiming here. And so the first step is looking there, but the second step is bringing that sail across the body. And bringing the sail across the body does a lot of different things. One, with the dynamics of the sail, opens up the sail, allowing you to get there. And two is twisting your body to complete that last part of the rotation of the bottom turn. So this is so important. So one, that last twist of the body gets you to finish the bottom turn. So instead of coming more parallel with the wave, you're coming more vertical. And then also it winds you up so you have more power to go into your cutback. So getting that twist, so I can see that you're anticipating your cutback. So you already start sort of turning your body into the cutback. I want to see you do the exact opposite of that, where you're, in the last part of the bottom turn, you're turning your body even more into the bottom turn and moving the sail across your body to just really finish that bottom turn strong. We need to come up with a term for this. You know, we've got all these great terms. We need to come up with a term for this. It's something kind of like backswing. It's like a backswing of the bottom turn. And just a little bit of that backswing. So if you think of it as like you want to continue your bottom turn, get that little bit of backswing in the bottom turn, and it gets you in a better place on the wave, completes your bottom turn better, and sets you up for your cutback better. So that's a huge, huge concept. Yeah, so that twist. So does that make sense? I mean, this is a good turn, but you can do a better turn. And you do that by hitting that section and getting that twist in there. I mean, one thing that you're doing on this wave as well is you're really linking the turns. You come out of this turn, you go right into the next turn, do this cutback, go right into the next one. I like that flow. And so let's look at these turns again. So these turns are fine. I could see you go a little bit lower there, but it's a difficult section because it is breaking quite quickly, and so it's hard to squeeze in all of these turns, and so you have to sort of speed up, and that feels really good. You know, you talk about how good this wave felt. That sort of like ping pong ball feeling of going from turn to turn to turn feels really good. It feels like I don't really like skiing moguls, but somehow in my head this feels like kind of skiing moguls were like bouncing from thing to thing to thing, and yeah, that feels good. So the main takeaway, yeah, and so you say it in the comment about hitting here, yeah. So I mean, you know what to do, but the way to get there is just to look. One is just to look there, and then to exaggerate that twist. So the backswing. So think about a backswing to your bottom turn, backswing to your bottom turn, backswing to your bottom turn. I'm writing that down. And everyone can do that more. I can do that more. I think about, that's one of the things I think about at Hokipa, is making sure I get that going from here to here. And it's just that backswing, and it's looking and twisting. All right, moving on. We've got another clip from the same day from Tomas. And I already commented here. We've got a few other good comments. And basically, I think the advice from the other clip will be relevant here. You can see that you're really anticipating this this turn a bit early. And so if you're coming a little bit more vertical, so you'd have to maybe you start your bottom turn later, so come down more of the wave and then start the bottom turn later to come up to it, I think is what the strategy needs to be. So instead of starting the bottom turn way over here, you build up speed, and then you start the bottom turn like where you are here, and then really drive to come up vertical. But then what happens is that your clue catches the wave, and then that causes you to get pitched. But you want to think about not having such a long bottom turn, so kind of pump up, catch. Unfortunately, there's not a power source over here for you to pick up speed. So ideally, there's a power source somewhere here where you're picking up speed. There isn't, so you're using the wind, which is not ideal. You want to get your speed mainly from the wave, but we make do with the conditions that we have. So anyway, so what you want to do is you kind of come more down, and then you start your bottom turn, and you're doing a much shorter bottom turn and coming more vertical. And you can really sheet out more as well in the bottom turn. But I think it's what you need to focus on. Something like this is a lot less about the technique and more just about how you're placing yourself, and really think about doing a short bottom turn. And so sort of sailing, and you can even challenge yourself, feel like you sail to here and then do your bottom turn super last minute, trying to get as vertical as possible. I do that sometimes. It's super fun. You sail down and you're like, oh, there's the section. I've got to make that turning. And then you're really leaning into it to try to, you're looking there and make it hard for yourself by putting yourself in a position where you have to do a really vertical bottom turn to make it. And you can make it. You have the ability. You just have to go for it. All right. This is an old post. People are still talking about it though. That's great. I posted this. This is me. I came out of this with so much speed, which is why I posted this. I flew out of this turn, and it's a good example of the positioning where you're getting that high five placement. And the butt is low, hanging from the boom. And so what you don't want to be doing is pulling up on the boom. You don't want your hands below your head. You don't want your hips pushed forward. You don't want the legs straight, and you don't want the board flat. And so like this, you can really push then against the wave and just capture all of that energy. And I put some photos of surfers doing the same thing. So this is Shane Dorian. Again, similar body position. Even the hands are above that. There's so many pictures. I posted a bunch of pictures. I thought I posted like 20 photos. I don't know where they all are. Oh, they're like in here, hidden somewhere. Again, you can see it with the surfer. And I like using the surf examples because they're obviously just using the wave energy, right? They don't have wind energy guiding them. And it's interesting that it's just the same position that we want to be in, right? And it's not that interesting. It makes sense. They're getting the high five. You've got the knees bent, bend at the waist, the butt low, arms up, not twisting too much with the body. Even when they're twisting with the arms, the torso is pretty much in line with the lower body. And that's what allows strong energy transfer. And so what you want to think about is, you're twisting, but you're twisting with your whole body. So you're not disconnecting your upper body from your lower body. You're twisting with your whole body, and not only your whole body, but also with the board. The board is part of your body, and this like whole unit is pushing around, kind of like if you think of a car on a bank or a skateboard on a ramp or something. Some different examples, and all showing the same thing, right? So hopefully that is useful. All right, Hans, before the injury. Okay, what's going on here? So I like this getting low before you go. Getting low before you go, but then you stand up quite a bit. You can stay low. I want to see you stay low and see what that does. Not that this isn't working for you now, but try it super low. See how that feels. These are small waves, makes it difficult, but I think you can go lower. I think having more bend in the knees will be really interesting for what you can do. That's a slashy turn. You're able to get in there. and that as well. But I think staying really low. There we go. That's a bit lower. I mean, this is a nice flowy wave, especially for the conditions. And I can see you were working on bending the knees. You can be even lower, I think, in some of the bottom turns. This is a great example, though, of really mediocre conditions and putting in work. Right, you're getting 3 turns on this little wave, slashing around. So the only thing I would say is you could do even more knee bend and just see how that feels. Find the point that's too low. Find the point that's too low, especially in conditions like this where it's not much to lose. It's not like they're super amazing waves. And what do I think about the camera angle? I like the camera angle. I can see your hands, I can see your head, I can see your knees, and I can see a bit of the wave as well. So I think the camera angle is good. The only other thing I'd add in these bottom turns is I want to see you pushing the sail away from you more. So this is a bit too close for my liking. I want to see you push the sail away and lean. Lean a little bit, that which will allow you to lean more into the turn. But this looks good. This looks good. I like it. Cool. All right. Daniel posted a video from Tenerife, which is cool. There's some great action in here. I watched this video when he posted it. We don't have to go over it in the live stream. I mean, I could do a reaction video to this with you guys, but there isn't a coaching question in here. If you guys want me to do a reaction to this video, let me know. We'll do it next time. I think today, yeah, I'll do it next time. I can see that the trees are blowing out the window. The leaves are blowing. I gotta make sure that I'm on the water early. So we'll do that next time if there's demand for it. I'm totally happy to do a reaction video, but just because there isn't a specific coaching question related to this, I'm going to put it to you guys, whether we do that or not. And that's it. We're caught up. Look at that. Just like that, we're caught up. So, yeah, the leaves in the trees are moving. The skies are blue. So I'm gonna get on the water. I can show you guys. I do have. What do I have? Do I have any footage? I don't know if I have any footage. New footage from the last time. Last time I showed you footage. I'll have to go through and see. Or maybe I can get some more footage today. It's sometimes I'm working with photographers and videographers and hiring people, and that's great, and that's a lot of the stuff you see. But in the end of last year, I bought a camera, and my wife has been filming me, which is not always easy because we've got 2 little kids as well, and so sometimes she can't film at all, and sometimes she can. But hopefully, if she can, then we can get some footage for you guys today, and I'll post that in the group. And we can look at it next week, Sunday. And then if you want me to go over the Tenerife video, do a reaction to that, I can. That sounds fun to do, but I'm not going to do it today. At the moment, I'm going to leave and get ready for my session. All right. Take care, everyone. Have a good week. Post your comments. You guys know the drill. Comments, photos, videos, questions, whatever, in the Facebook group. If you know someone who would benefit from this community, tell them to join the Facebook group or just join us on Sundays. I know a lot of people aren't on Facebook, and they can join us on YouTube on Sundays. All right, everyone, take care. Have a great week. Thanks for joining me. And I'm going to post some Facebook updates in the Facebook group. I'm still working on the newsletter thing. That's coming. Just trying to get it perfect. Sometimes too much of a perfectionist. There was something one of my high school teachers said that I repeat to myself very often, which is perfect is good, but finished is divine. So I'm trying to get this finished for you guys. Anyway, have a good week and take care. I hope it's windy. Bye.